Hi, everybody. I'm Marcela. Nice to hear you. It's a pleasure to connecting with you to talk about attacks in New York City, September 11, 2001. Our meeting, we are going to talk about 9/11 events. So the first question is, have Americans overcome the 9/11 events? Paola, can you talk about this answer, please?
Yes, Marcela. I think that no, definitely not, because it was a huge event that remind how dangerous is that ideology or different kind of beliefs can destroy the human rights and life for many people change since they lose a member of their family.
Okay, so John,
Okay. No, they have not. Most of them, at least, that was a situation really shocking for them, and they are keeping in mind like a show of weakness and vulnerability. So for the people of USA, it's not overcome yet, especially with relatives of people who died in those acts of terrorism.
so what about you, Diana?
Mm, I think since the country being a war power offered a lot of security at the time, it was a quite shocking event, but for the inhabitants and for the political sphere.
Okay, so I think that this 9/11 attacks caused a shock to American psyche. American people believe that their country was the safest and securest place in the world. They never thought that they could be attacked by the terrorists in 2,970 people. 70 people, 77 people lost their lives in these attacks. The attacks remain one of the most traumatic and horrific events of the century, not only for Americans, but also for all the world. Sorry, in the second one, we have that are Americans still concerned about terrorist threats? Paula, what do you think about this question?
Um, yes, they still scared about that happen again in other ways because like we have seen that people that have guns enter to a place and shot too many people without thinking and then suicide nowadays could be considered as terrorist and it shows that it's not necessary that people that be people from other countries. John.
Okay, absolutely, they are. 9/11 left a print that they are not going to forget. And as the documentary mentioned it, any other attack that the United States can suffer in the future will be just a subsequent event after 9/11. They have the pressure of being such a powerful nation, so that influences what people believe is a threat for other nations, specifically, especially from the Middle East countries, where their nation has been in a war for much more time with.
So now and forever, not just for American people, all the people in the world, we always will remember that we are vulnerable to violence and we must be prepared to defend our belief in freedom, peace, and democracy in honor to all the victims of terrorism's attack.
Mm, Constantly, constantly since the USA present on political issues that are quite sensitive and puts them in threat, thus putting them in the eye of the hurricane of many terrorist groups with a high degree of danger.
So thanks, guys. Now, what do you think? So, how have Muslims and Americans' lives changed after the 9/11 events? So,
Um,
Pauli.
Constantly, they live afraid that Americans violate to Muslims' rights or the contrary situations because it creates a kind of discrimination and hate. It is a big problem that the government indirectly help that increase.
I think it has changed drastically since then. I think mostly to the Muslim community because they were seen as a potential threat to the American security. Even the years later, many of people from Arabic countries were deported and separated from their families just for BS. Americans' lives changed, of course. Several people has not been able of recovering after attacks. They have to resign to their jobs and get medicated in order of overcoming the traumas that population have to face the fact that they are vulnerable to, even living in the greatest nation worldwide.
Ruth.
Everyday life for Americans has not really changed. They have become more cautious. They pay more attention to the people around them and keep more distance from criminals and immigrants. The events have made Muslims become quiet, where the people, especially at the time of migrating a very rigorous procedure, is mode on their lives and entry authorizations for the different countries that require.
So I think that Muslims feel more afraid and more vulnerable as a result of these attacks and have significant negative economic consequences. Millions of Muslims that live in New York were deported and they have been living as separated family, facing the political pressure and the racial discrimination. So, on the question four, so we have, what is the American government doing to reduce the threat feelings of the community?
Um, I think that they increase the military force, made more strong politics migrations, general security in many public places. That your
The government has increased the surveillance and have had a big intervention in the Middle East countries. They have tried to get a sustainable security and the feeling of the on inhabitants of safety and confidence with the government policies. I believe they are trying to overcome the war that has been like inherited generation by generation, bringing also consequences itself from one to another.
Ruth,
root.
Oh, sorry. The United States government, with the support of its allied countries of the Atlantic Alliance, pledged to lead a war against terrorism and send military forces to Central Asia in preparation for an eventual retaliatory against Al-Qaeda, which, in the event of failure to find anti-terrorist collaboration in the Taliban regime, could be extended against the government of Afghanistan itself. So, along these lines, NATO invoked for the first time in the story Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty, by virtue of which an against a member of state of the alliance is considered as an attack against the other member of one of the states, which remain thus obligated to assist the ally attack.
So the American government created US Department of Homeland Security in order to protect and prevent American people from terrorism threats, improving its ability to identify and penetrate terrorist plots. And now we're going to answer what is the opinion of some politicians about war after 9/11 events. That I think that John Biden, that is the current president of the United States, in the 20th anniversary of attacks, said that he's trying to turn on the page and rearrange USA priorities, an aspiration that led to the hasty withdrawal from Afghanistan that last month. In his opinion, he said that the fundamental obligation of a president is to defend and protect America not against threats of 2001, but against the threats of 2021 and tomorrow. So, what about you, Paola?
I agree with you because I think that also Donald Trump, he want to make strong the security of the country, and they think in general the politicians that that is the was the worst event for United States. Like everything changed since that happened. John.
In my opinion, they are divided on what is the path they must follow against the war in the world. Many of them have tried to cope in their countries. I'm talking about USA specifically. They are approaching to their friends in the region and getting support from them. Other ones just want to increase the policies and having more rigorous requirements for people who want to visit the country or live there. And anyways, that sometimes promote, I think, the xenophobia and prejudice against people from certain nationalities, beliefs, cultures, races, etc. So I think from since the moment the documentary was shot, things are changed a little bit, but I think it continues. Every president who are in the power is doing what they believe. As you say, Donald Trump has one politics more stronger, you can say, and now Joe Biden is like trying to allow the people to make a little bit more normalized in one way to say that.
Okay, for my part, all the management of Bush is an analysis of administration before the attacks. It can be said that the policy orientation was focused on the issues that was priority for public opinion. So With a greater attention to domestic problems is an evidence by default. It was a government according for the opinions of the majorities. Bush had to deal with another skills before very divided and thinking public opinion and made a different accurate interpretation of the feelings of the population.
That's all. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.